Dr. David Liu might just be the most important scientist alive today. But in order to understand how crazy, difficult, and important what him and his team have designed, we gotta go deep, deep inside of you. Inside the very code that makes you you, your DNA. Now, let me ask you something. Would you let me change just one of the 6 billion letters that make up your DNA code? Just like this. Take a look at all these pictures. They're all of people who have a specific genetic condition called progeria. It literally translates to early old age. Their life expectancy is around 13 to 15 years of age. And it's all because of one single tiny change in their DNA. This is known as a point mutation. One tiny little mistake in DNA that can affect every single cell and every single organ in your body. In this case, the mutation causes the scaffold of the cell nucleus to collapse. Right now you might be thinking, "Ain't I lucky? There's no chance that this could happen to me." But here's some news. Progeria is just one example. DNA can snap as long as we are alive. Every single one of your cells needs to divide, grow, and will age. And with things like smoking, bad food, and sunlight, DNA mistakes happen more and more often. So in this episode, I want to go on a quest with you to understand one of the biggest breakthroughs happening in medicine right now. A tiny molecular machine fixing an even tinier problem inside the code of life, our DNA. And this research pioneered by Dr. Liu and his team could be helping 400 million people around the world. A quest to change our DNA, but for good. Since the very beginning of time, we have been trying to play genetic doctors. Before we knew about DNA, we were doing it the old-fashioned way, trying to choose people to have babies with that seemed like they were gonna have healthy, good, strong babies. Or when it comes to our animals, our plants, and our fruit, we were trying to change them using something called directed evolution, choosing for the traits we wanted and then making sure only the ones we wanted survived to reproduce. And it will become very important very soon. The problem with evolution is a slow, gradual, and very random process. We were practically trying to scramble DNA inside a genetic lottery, hoping that the random changes or mistakes that we made would lead us to a better place than we were before. And it wasn't until this moment that everything changed.
This is a huge moment in science and also in medicine because CRISPR itself, this gene editing tool.
I bet you have heard of CRISPR before, but CRISPR has one basic flaw, just like Dr. Liu will explain.
That defense mechanism is now better known as CRISPR. And the warhead in CRISPR is this purple protein that acts like molecular scissors to cut DNA, breaking the double helix into two pieces. Cutting a DNA sequence in your genome also disrupts the function of the cut gene typically, by causing the insertion and deletion of random mixtures of DNA letters at the cut site. Now, disrupting genes can be very useful for some applications, but for most point mutations that cause genetic diseases, simply cutting the already mutated gene won't benefit patients because the function of the mutated gene needs to be restored, not further disrupted.
Don't get me wrong, CRISPR was a massive, and it still is, an incredible scientific breakthrough. It made things like designer babies or custom treatments for cancer within reach. But here's the problem. CRISPR is a little bit like a pair of scissors with a very precise GPS. It can find the part of DNA we exactly wanted to and snip it. But this kind of snip that breaks both strands of DNA, or a double-stranded break, makes those DNA edges extremely sticky. They will try to bind to any other kind of DNA they can find within the cell nucleus. Although this is not necessarily bad, sometimes it will turn a gene off. It's not enough for all disorders. Sometimes we don't want to turn a gene off. We need to fix it. And for that, we don't just need a pair of scissors and something that will randomly bind to other things. We need to go in and with sniper precision fix one tiny mistake. Just like that. To fix those tiny but powerful mistakes in DNA, Dr. Liu and his team realized that we need a much better mechanism. They started tweaking those CRISPR proteins around, trying to find a way to turn them from a giant pair of scissors into a hardcore sniper. And that is incredibly important Because take a look at this. There's over 7,000 rare genetic conditions, all of which affect less than 200,000 people each. That means there's over 400 million people around the world that are suffering from a genetic disorder. But here's the problem. Let's say me and you are both born with cystic fibrosis. We both have mutations in our CTFR gene, which means that the CTFR protein that makes a tiny little ion channel our lungs really need to have is not working well. The bad news is we don't technically have the same disease because my little mutation and your little mutation could be totally different, which means that even if we designed the best, most custom, most amazing gene editing therapy for you, it would not work on me. And there are over 30,000 different types of point mutations that we know of that cause disease. And that is why Dr. Liu and his team were obsessed with designing a tiny little molecular machine. In 2016, they published this paper, and it causes a tsunami wave of enthusiasm across the scientific community. Remember back in your biology class how DNA is practically 4 proteins, A, G, C, and T, and they always form the exact same pairs, C to T and A to G. They designed a tiny molecular robot that would find the exact mistake where a C had turned into a T or a T into a C and change it around. This is known as base editing, proved to be much tricky. This is the part of the story where you're probably thinking that this all sounds great, but it's probably going to take years, if not decades, for us to see the results of this incredible discovery. But I'm here to give you some really good news. The very first paper on base editing was published on Nature in April of 2016. But by May of 2022, just a few years later, the first clinical trials are already underway. And by December of that same year, this happens. 13-year-old Alyssa from the UK was suffering from a type of blood cancer or leukemia that was so far thought to be incurable. And at the moment of making this video, over 4 years later, not only is she still alive, but she's cancer-free. But there were still 2 big challenges with its technology. Number 1 was that this pencil could only fix very specific types of mistakes. It could turn a cytosine into a thymine or a thymine into a cytosine, but other types of typos in our DNA, it couldn't fix. It took a few more years and a few more amazing collaborators, and Dr. Liu's lab develops more and more types of pencils or base editors, each one for a specific type of mistake. And in 2022, they even designed one that could fix mitochondrial DNA, a tiny bit of circular DNA that we inherit from our moms, and it's implicated in a lot of disorders. Believe it or not, this was just step 1. Step 2 was essentially saying, okay, if we are so good at treating those tiny little typos, can we give it a shot with bigger, longer mistakes, like entire words or paragraphs of DNA that are wrong? And they designed prime editors. They were able to essentially fix much bigger chunks of DNA all at once. Prime editors came to be known as the search and replace method of fixing DNA, because they could search and very accurately find the mistake and then fix that mistake specifically. Unlike the original CRISPR approach that could cut a very specific part of DNA, but couldn't precisely fix it. That was the first challenge, figuring out how we can fix different types of mistakes in our DNA. But Dr. Liu right now is going after the second challenge, perhaps the most important one, which is building a type of gene editing therapy that could work regardless of who you give it to. And for that, we gotta go deep inside of you one more time. If we go back to our DNA as this grand recipe book where every single cell needs a copy, and every time you need a recipe or a gene to create a protein, you need to go and copy that specific segment. But the thing is, you're not trying to copy and make every single recipe every single time you're trying to make a protein. You just need one specific protein. The way your DNA makes sure that at some point the replication's protein stop is by having a simple stop sign, a very specific sequence that literally means do not copy anything further from here. But that stop sign is sometimes placed in the wrong place, meaning that when you do need a protein, an early stop sign stops you from going on. This is not a small problem. it is estimated that over 30% of all genetic conditions are due to an early stop sign. That is called a nonsense mutation. So instead of trying to spell check a very specific spelling mistake, Dr. Liu's lab is now attempting to make a stop sign killer. So Dr. Liu and his collaborators went back to the whiteboard and thought, do we have anything already inside of us that can trick or stop or ignore those little stop signs? And they realized that we actually do. They're called suppressor tRNAs or suppressor transfer RNAs. They're tiny little bits of RNA that essentially get in the kitchen and get involved when your DNA is replicating. So all these proteins that attach to your DNA to unravel it, copy it, and make sure that the right protein gets formed, they go in there while the cooks are in the kitchen. And if the cooks find a stop sign, they say, hey, just ignore this guy. Keep going. But the problem with that is that you would indefinitely need to be giving those suppressor RNAs to patients over and over and over again. And as we know with most drugs, taking them for a long time is not that great. So instead of designing a suppressor tRNA and then giving it to people like a drug, they thought, wait a minute, we actually know how to change the recipe book. What did we find? A recipe already in the recipe book that we don't really need, which actually happens in biology quite a bit. And we tweak that recipe to produce this extra little cook that we need. So they found a gene for a suppressor tRNA that wasn't of much use, and using those prime editors that we spoke of before, instructed it to create a very specific type of suppressor tRNA that could make cells ignore those premature stop codons. This type of reprogramming is called PERT, or prime editing mediated read-through of premature termination codons. And this could truly be the first time ever we design a type of gene editing tool that not only fixes one person or a few, not only fixes a specific mistake, but essentially produces an extra little chef inside our cells that knows when something is about to go wrong. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly loved researching all this cool new age of gene editing technologies that are coming to market just now. And if you love more stories of science, innovation, discovery, and all kinds of weird technologies, head to the channel and watch a few more. See you in the next one.